Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Allegiant Stadium. We are here live with the Chiefs Pregame Cheat Sheet. Myself, Darren Smith, along with Mr. Steve Walsh. We are live coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. Steve, how are you feeling this evening, man? Are you ready for some Sunday night football?
I am. I'm look, it's a new stadium, and this is the first time since we've been covering the Kansas City Chiefs that we've been able to go to a brand new stadium. So, look, I'm just as excited as the fans are.
Look, I'm equally excited as you. Of course, we got this new stadium, and then, of course, next month, you and I will be out in Southern California breaking in SoFi Stadium for the fans. So, first things first, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs coming into tonight's ball game with a 5-4 record. As well as the Las Vegas Raiders. They're coming with a 5-3 record. Of course, currently, if you're looking, I'm not sure what the latest score was, Steve, for the Sunday afternoon game between the Denver Broncos and the Philadelphia Eagles, along with the Minnesota Vikings against against Los Angeles Chargers. But tonight's game could be a matchup where Kansas City plays for first place in the AFC division. As bad as they've played over these last few weeks, we get a chance to now, after the best team has played, get a chance to play for first place in the AFC West.
Correct, man. And you know what? I think this team is coming out here hungry. They're hungry to be continue to stay over 500. Their first last week was the first game they were able to be over 500 for this season. So look, the Raiders are going to pull out all the stops as well. They've had some in the past couple of weeks. They've had some things that have gone on with their team outside of football, and which has caused them a lot of turmoil. So I think they're eager to get a win as well. Now they're also pulling out even more stops. It's Sunday Night Football. They're going to have Charles Woodson. That's going to be in his banner and inducted to the Raiders Hall of Fame. They're going to have all of the Raiders alumni here, and the building will be full. You have a lot of Chiefs fans that have traveled from Kansas City, a lot of Raiders fans that have traveled from Oakland, from LA, and everybody's going to be in this building ready to see a good football game. Yeah,
and of course, again, we're coming to you live from inside Allegiant Stadium. Normally, we would try to have the field in the background and stuff, but as you see, we are showcasing you the field, giving you a chance to see what the inside of the stadium looks like. Of course, just because of how the stadium figures, Steve and I just decided it's best to just do it from our seats up here in the press box. But Steve, look, again, coming into today's ball game, Kansas City finally got a consecutive streak going. They won their last two ball games against the New York Football Giants, and then again last Sunday afternoon against the Green Bay Packers. The Raiders are coming into the ball game losing 23-16 last week to the New York Football Giants. That being said, you mentioned some of the turmoil that the Raiders have been going through over the last month. They lost their head coach. They lost their wide receiver a couple of weeks ago. And then this past week, they cut their other first-round draft pick in their defensive back. So, things have been working out well for Kansas City, so to speak. You didn't have to deal with Aaron Rodgers last week, dealing with COVID. And, of course, this week, you still get the Raiders, who are potentially, still kind of sidetracked with all the off-field stuff that they have going on.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? But the thing about it is, I think that the Raiders they're going to put all that behind them. And we got to face it. This is an NFC West matchup. They're rivals. This is going back since the beginning of time, beginning of football, right? So I believe this is still Raider Nation. It's still the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're going to clash tonight for Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, and when you talk about it again, as I've told people throughout the week, you can throw the records, you can throw the stats, you can throw Patrick bad play, you can throw the things that's been going on with the Raiders out the one. But you got two teams. This is the 125th time that these two teams have met up with one another, Steve. And so with that, they know each other well. It doesn't matter who's on the sidelines calling the plays. It doesn't matter who's quarterback, who's a running back. These two teams, these two organizations do not like one another. And, of course, when you remember what happened last year, when they came to Arrowhead Stadium, they upset the Chiefs. Of course, the Chiefs kind of shot themselves in the foot. They had two touchdowns called back in the game, and they never could kind of catch back up. The Raiders were able to escape Arrowhead with the win, and not only that, they had the audacity to roll around the stadium in their buses. So when Kansas City came back the following month here in Las Vegas for the Sunday Night Football game, they went back and forth, and the Chiefs escaped with the win, but it was only a 4-point win. So, again, these two teams don't like each other, and tonight's not going to be any different.
Now, you talk about them rolling around the stadium. Now, a part of me wants to feel like that was the team. a whole team decision. And then another part of me wants to say that was just the head coach John Group's decision, and yeah. So I think now that we know about John Group, I would go out on a limb and say that, hey, that was just a John Group decision to want to do that. But it is what it is, and we're here for Sunday Night Football.
And speaking of that, of course, Sunday Night Football kicks off at 7:20 Kansas City time, and a kickoff 5:20 here. As you kind of hear in the background, we're trying to bring you the ambiance here inside Allegiant Stadium. So, Steve, I got to tell you, man, I'm real excited, with everything that's going on at the moment. And look, I've got to say, man, if you're a fan, if you are a fan of this, I'm telling you, man, this is Chiefs football. Look, the potential of what Patrick Mahomes and his team can initially do in tonight's ball game. Patrick, in that last play against the Green Bay Packers, look, man, they were able to, do something that they haven't been able to do recently. Mahomes to Tyreek Hill for a game-winning drive, a game-winning play that helped them secure the win. How does that carry over into tonight's ball game when you know that the Chiefs have been struggling, even though they picked up Melvin Ingram last week in a trade, and he played well in spurts for Kansas City? How does this offensive team continue that momentum off of what they did last week against the Green Bay Packers tonight in Las Vegas?
I think that last play was classic Mahomes. He was able to roll out to his right, find a covered receiver and his number one receiver, Tyreek Hill. So, it's just it's going to be inevitable that Patrick Mahomes is going to find his rhythm, find his groove. It's like he a golfer, right? When you have one game that you're out there and you're playing solid, the next day you can go out there to the same course and be terrible at it. So I think this is going to be. Look, he knows that all eyes are on him. He's been called the best quarterback in football for the past 2 seasons. He's led his team to 2 Super Bowls, almost the third, right, in 2018. So I think that it was one of those deals where he started out slow this season. But look, I would much rather him finish out strong than start strong and finish out weak. Because we can look at it as this. If you look at it as since the Chiefs are playing the Raiders, a team that was in Oakland. Look at the Golden State Warriors, right? Steph Curry. Would you rather have Steph Curry take the last shot, or would you rather have John Green take the last shot? That being said, would you rather have Patrick Mahomes with the ball in his hand, or would you rather have another player with the ball in their hand to try to, make something happen? So I'd much rather see Patrick Mahomes with the ball in his hand.
What you on that? So, of course, just to give everyone an update, just looking at my phone, both the Broncos as well as the Chargers lost today. So if Kansas City can take care of business, Steve, and they win tonight, the Chiefs, after the way they played over the last month and a half, 2 months, will be in first place once again in the AFC West. And I believe they would be, depending on looking at here, the Steelers actually tied. So I'm not sure how this would work, but the Chiefs could potentially be in second place. They could go from 8th to number 2 tonight. No, I take it back. No, because the Steelers will still have three. Let me look at this. Steelers still have 3 wins, so they would still. So the Chiefs would move from 8th to number 3 tonight if they were to win tonight's ball. No, actually, no, they would win. No, they'd move to number 2. So they'd be a half game ahead of Blitz. So they'd go from number 8 to number 2 if they win tonight's game.
Yeah, that's the thing about this season. That's the thing about football, man. Yeah. And they say it each and every week, any given Sunday, any given Monday night, and now any given Thursday. So you have to believe that Andy Reid has set the tone for this team. Patrick Mahomes is going to come out here and he's going to fire this team up. You're going to have their leaders have to show up tonight. Speaking
of Andy Reid is 14-5 against the Raiders. Of course, most of that during this time here in Kansas City. The Raiders are led by interim head coach Rich Bisaccia, and of course, the Chiefs. They average 24 points a game, but they give up 25 points. Let's switch over to the defense for a little bit, Steve. When you look at this defense, what is Melvin Ingram brought? What type of new sense of energy? The players seem to be a little bit more healthy on the defensive side. We'll get to the offensive side because they'll be without Lucas Niang and Mike Rivers in tonight's ball game. But defensively, Chiefs seem to be starting to hit their stride on the defensive side of the football.
You are correct. I think you have some guys that are healthy. You have Chris Jones, who talked about his wrist problems with the torn ligaments in his wrist. You also have Frank Clark, who didn't play any preseason, didn't play the first part of the season with the hamstring injury. So a lot of these guys that were banged up are now they're healthy. And the Chiefs I believe this defense has carried this team these past 2 weeks, and they understand that. Then I think they're getting ready to hit their stride.
Talking about hitting their stride, of course, the Kansas City, someone in particular on the Chiefs side is hoping to hit their stride tonight, and that could be either Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill, Steve. Look, they've both been. Travis Kelce did catch a touchdown, a 1-yard touchdown, which kind of broke a little touchdown-less streak for him. I think he had gone like 2 or 3 games without catching a touchdown. Yeah. And of course, Tyreek Hill. You were telling me before the game that you think that this could be a big game for Tyreek Hill. Why is that?
I think so. I really believe that that it's something about playing indoors. It's something about playing the Raiders, and it's something about just the way that I saw Tyreek Hill warming up. He came out, had a little extra bounce to his step, and I feel like Tyreek Hill he's due. He's due for we saw last week where Patrick Mahomes, he looked off a wide open Travis Kelce to go deep to McCole Hardman, and of course he didn't make the throw, but he's still looking to go deep. And that's where I think a lot of fans and a lot of critics of Patrick Mahomes, they'll say, well, why didn't you just take the wide open Travis Kelce? Why did you still want to go deep? And I think you have to take those shots when they're available. You just have to, because if you don't, then you're going to be like, what if? And some people will say, oh, we'll just take the for sure or the guarantee instead of the possibility. But I think, 9 times out of 10, he's going to make that throw, and Tyreek or McCole is going to make that catch.
We are less than 30 minutes away from kickoff. Kansas City Chiefs, Sunday Night Football. Ladies and gentlemen, it's real now. Kansas City, after the first game, leading the division. After that, they've been at the bottom of the division. With a win tonight, the Chiefs will be back in first place right now, Steve. And so, I do want to ask, when we look at what's going on with Chiefs on the offensive line, they're going to be having Andrew Wiley now in for Mike Remmers, in for Lucas Niang. Will it have any adverse effect? And then I'm not sure whether or not we've got notice or whatever. Let me see. We do have. So in Active Sports tonight, we got DeAndre Baker, Lucas Niang, Colin Saunders is out, as well as Daniel Brown. Don't have any information as it relates to Clyde with the Bears. It doesn't look like he's going to play in tonight's game. But I do want to ask you, Deshaun Jackson, they signed him this week. What do you think he brings to this Raiders offense, and do you see him playing a role in tonight's ball game?
You know what? I think he'll play a small role. He's an older guy, veteran, of course. But I think he would do a little bit more than Josh Gordon has done. When the Chiefs brought in Josh Gordon, they wanted. I think Chiefs fans wanted him to be a Sammy Watkins-esque type player, right? I think they wanted him to be basically a threat. And right now, I mean, he's not utilized that way. I mean, he's had 3 targets maybe. And so on the flip side, you have Deshaun Jackson, who has played this season. He's played. He tried. He had a small cup of tea in LA with the Rams, and things didn't work out. However, he's coming into the Raiders, and we've heard Raiders head coach. He said that, hey, he's practiced all week. He's looked fast. And that's pretty much all he said is that he's looked fast. So Deshaun Jackson, he has speed working out for him, but we'll see what he does. Look, he's coming from a new team to another new team, and he has to pick up the scheme. So we'll see. But I think he still has some speed. I think he still needs to be accounted for on the offense when he's out there.
So, Steve, I'm curious. Look, and for the fans, if you think the Chiefs are going to win tonight, drop your score prediction in tonight's ballgame. Let us know what you think. Do you think Kansas City pulls it out? And, I mean, again, we know how big this thing is. And so we know, when Kansas City generally had the chance, Steve, to, say to like clinch something to be able to do it. And, of course, as you see right now, they're kind of unveiling Charles Woodson. They got the Hall of Famers down there on the field right now. So we do want to say, even though he is on the opposing team, Steve, he was a baller. Congrats to Charles Woodson on his induction to the Raiders Ring of Honor. Of course, he recently became a member of the National Football Hall of Fame as well. So shout out to Charles Woodson. I know we've had a chance to meet him and talk to him before. So congrats to Charles Woodson. But getting back to this game, Steve. So I do want to kind of go to X factors in tonight's ball game. For the Chiefs, who do you think is going to be the X factor, and what do they need to pull out a win tonight here at Allegiant Stadium?
I think the Chiefs, it has to be Patrick Mahomes. He has to play well. He has to. When you talk about X factor, that's the guy who is. Sometimes people look at it as a guy who's unexpected to play well, but no, I feel like it's a guy that needs to play well to make his team win. And for the Chiefs on the offensive side of the ball, it just has to be Patrick. He has to play well. Of course, he's carried this team over the past couple years, as I said earlier in the show. But if he doesn't play well, then they don't win, and he understands that. But the defense has picked him up a little bit, and I feel like some of the games have been a little closer than they should have been these past couple weeks, and also cut out the turnovers. We saw last week where he didn't have. I don't believe he had a close interception, but people didn't see that there was a flag. So when there's an offsides, he'll take that kind of shot, no matter if there's an interception or not. He'll take the shot. If it comes out to be where his receiver catches the ball, then it is what it is. But yeah, I think he needs to come out and play well and just limit those turnovers.
And whether or not, the Chiefs have done well with their cavalcade of running backs. They're stable running back Darrell Williams, McKinnick, as well as obviously we look at getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire back off the injured reserve list. How big of a factor will the running game be in tonight's ball game against the Raiders?
Ooh, man.
Hit you with that one, huh?
Yeah. No. Here's the thing about it. I even asking Eric Bieniemy earlier this week about the Chiefs' running game and the fact that opposing defenses don't really fear their running game, and they're going to have to make teams learn. That they're able to run the ball and they're able to be effective. Of course, I don't know if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is playing today. He did practice earlier this week. He's not on the inactive list, so maybe he will be playing today. So they have to be effective. They don't need to go away from the run. I think they need to continue to try to be a balanced offense.
As we see, of course, Raiders Hall of Famers and their class members being inducted. Tom Flores, who used to be the coach here for the Raiders, they're introducing him as well. A lot of great players. Art Shell, first black head coach in the modern era in the NFL here. He was a Hall of Famer as well, class of 1989. You look at Ron Wolfman, Steve. I mean, they just kind of like the Chiefs, man. You can't have a Hall of Fame without members of the Raiders organization in there. So
it's a heck of a day. Like I said, this is a heck of a day that they're going to try to do this. Sunday Night Football, they're playing against their rival. They want to be able to get the teams, their team hyped up. They want to get their fans hyped up. I mean, you look at the Baltimore Ravens. And, you look at the Baltimore Ravens when we were out in Baltimore and they faced the Chiefs. Who did they bring out? Ray Lewis.
Oh, right. The great Rob. And, and that's what I'm glad you said, because that's what I was going to. The last two times Kansas City has played on Sunday Night Football, they've lost the ball games. As we see Tim Brown being honored. So, I mean, man, look, they got something close here right now. So it's very electric here in this stadium right now. The stadium is half full. We still, Steve, before we even get to that, look at all the sea and red that's out here mixing these. I mean, Kansas City, Andy Reid talked about it. Chiefs fans traveling. This is a good showing for Kansas City. It could be, Arrowhead West here in Kansas City. Charles Woodson, of course, about to be honored, be presented with his Hall of Fame ring. So this is a good moment. I would say we'll kind of take a little bit of it in. So you want to take some of this in right quick?
Oh, that's fine.
All right, we'll just pause right quick and. Bad man. Yeah, Steve. Yeah, the audio kind of bad. But getting back to this game, Steve, let's get your prediction on tonight's ball game.
You know what? I originally said earlier, what was it last week, that the Chiefs are going to come out here and put up at least 35 points, 17. And I still think that holds true. I think the Raiders have a lot going on within their organization, a lot on their minds, and I just don't see them coming out here and being successful tonight. I think the Chiefs we're going to want to show the world why they're still one of the best teams in football.
I like that prediction. I'm still not convinced just yet on the defense turning everything around. I think because of the absence of Aaron Rodgers last week, I think the defense got off easy. Derek Carr is second in the league to Tom Brady in passing yards, so I think he's going to test the defense. He's going to stretch it out, and we'll see what this pass rush. We'll see whether or not Steve Spagnuolo sticks with that type of pass rush that he did last week. See if he does it in today's ball game. If he does that, and the Chiefs can hold up on the back end, and that front line can get the pressure that we expect it to, I like Kansas City. But I like Kansas City regardless. But I think it's much closer, Steve. I think it's more of a 35-31 type ball game. But I think we kind of see a repeat of last year's game where it kind of goes back and forth until one team gets a break, like Kansas City got last year when they had an interception late in the ball game, and they were able to capitalize on it. That's what I'm seeing happening tonight. Look, I would love for the Chiefs to win. I just want them to win at least by 3. Anything more than that, I'm great. So be it may, I got the Chiefs winning 35-31. I know you said 35-17. But even if they do get that 35, that's a good magic number, so more so because that means that the Chiefs' offense is moving. And so I'd love to see a scenario where they could kind of repeat what they did in Philadelphia, where they rushed for 200 yards and Patrick throws for 5 touchdowns. But a win is a win is a win, and Andy said that he's not going to apologize anyway and how they do it. So, see, before we get out of here, of course, we'll return back to Kansas City next week, where you and I will be previewing the Dallas Cowboys game. But you looking sharp. Who styled you up today, man? And let the people know where they can get suited and booted at.
They can go visit my friends over at Dillard's on the Rosa. Talk to Broderick. He's a guy that styled me this week. Also, Athena. Talked to both of those two young people, and they styled me over at Dillard's on the Rosa. Remember, you can go check them out. Go check them out. You can get your suits. Ladies also have makeup line and all those good things for you all as well. So go check them out. And I appreciate them for styling me each week.
Word up. And of course, me as usual, Todd White, I ain't gonna lie, I said I got the money green. We come to get that money tonight here in Las Vegas. We got the diamonds, we got the silver glittering. Steve, of course, as I tell people, they can always go. He has 2 locations, 21st and Broadway, as well as inside of the Ward Parkway Mall off of 85th and State Line. So if you want to also look suited and booted, get that everyday gentleman look, go visit Todd White, tell him I sent you. They'll take care of you. Look, for Steve Walls and myself, make sure you tune in post-game on our respective channels as we bring you the Chiefs post-game pressers featuring Andy Reid and and Patrick Mahomes, along with 2 or 3 other players, as they hopefully celebrate a win here at Allegiant Stadium here in Las Vegas, Nevada. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for the Red Hour. Steve Walls, myself, Sean Tyler, and DJ Q. And if you are I don't know what they did, but all right, Woodson, I see you, Charles Woodson. All right, I see that when the Chiefs fans do their thing, I don't want you to get offended. Hi, Steve. The watch. Okay. I don't know what it does, but anyway, be there as it may. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night for the Red Hour, and of course Monday through Friday, 3 to 4 p.m. Central for Darren Sterling on ESPN Kansas City, and of course, on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Central with the W with Steve Walls and the crew. Be there as it may. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. Go Chiefs! Again, Chiefs, I need you to win by at least 3. Hear me. Win by at least 3. Until then, thank you so much for joining us.